Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. Welcome to a brand new quilt adventure where we're going to make quilt blocks based on cakes. So if you want to learn how to create a broken dishes quilt block like this, please stay tuned. I'm so excited to share my idea for 2026. This is going to be a lot of fun, and I hope that you'll join me on this journey. I want to create a scrap quilt that incorporates my old love, which is quilting, with one of my new loves. I have recently, like over the last year, over 2025, I've gotten into baking. I want to put a few pictures of some of my cakes here. My desire is to continue to bake and learn more about baking. And so my goal for this year is to try some new cakes. I want to try 13 new cakes successfully, and hopefully more than that. But I want to try at least one a month, and then I want to create a project based on this, based on these cakes. So the quilt that I want to create for 2026, I'm calling the Cake Walk quilt, because I guess we're kind of walking through learning some different cake techniques and different types of cakes to bake. And I've already started by baking my January cake. We're going to start there, and we're going to create some quilt blocks each month based on these cakes that I bake. Okay, so I want to show you first. I'll put a little clip of January's cake, which I'm excited to share, and then we'll go into the block that we're going to create for this month. Here is the cake that I explored for January. This is a cookies and cream cake. It has 3 layers, and I have a cream cheese icing, and then I have crushed Oreos down at the bottom, and I have some Oreo cream cheese icing, I guess, for my decorations. My decorations look a little janky right now because I need a bigger tip for the cookies and cream cake. I've already cut a couple slices out. My husband and I tested it out yesterday, so I want to show you the inside of the cake. It looks good to me, and it tasted pretty good. The texture was pretty good. So this is my January cake exploration. So now we can try the, actually let me go to this side. Now we will do the quilt block for this cake. I want to show you that I do already sort of have a plan for the quilt. I'm not going to let you see too much of that. I don't know how much of it you can see, or if it's like all blurred out, but I have the months here for my cakes, and I only have a couple that I know I want to make. And then back here, I started to list some of our quilt blocks, and I'm really excited about that. These blocks came from the Block a Day book, which is here, and you guys know how I feel about the Block a Day book. It has 365 quilting squares for patchwork inspiration. I have used several blocks from this to create quilts, and it is so much fun to have a lot of different things to choose from. I do believe that I'm going to build on my inspiration. I don't know even what to call it, but I need to get more books. There are a couple more books that I'm interested in for getting some blocks. So I will look into doing that over this next year, see what we can get. To commemorate the cookies and cream cake, we're going to make a block that is called the Broken Dishes. It's a very traditional pattern here, and I'll show you a picture of it, but I have to modify it to make it fit what I'm going to do here. I'm looking for my page number. That's why I'm kind of every which way. It says it's on this page, but it ain't on this page. Let's see. Let me go back to the index so I can see exactly where it is. Okay, I found the page. All right, so this is the block that we're going to be working on for this quilt, or for this block, the broken dishes here. Like I said, it is a very traditional pattern. It only uses half square triangles, and I happen to have a lot of those. And so now I can kind of tell you where I'm going to get the fabric for this. I am currently at my new studio, which you can kind of see is still in flux. We're still working on it to bring my stuff from the other studio over here and kind of clear this out just a little bit. But I wanted to work with what I already had here. And I went to the other studio and I pulled a project that's not really a project. It's just stuff that I have that I've been kind of working on every once in a while. So these are half square triangles and quarter square triangles that I don't even know how old they are, several years. And what I did was I took leftover triangles and I just stitched them together and pressed the seam allowances open. And I have been, every once in a while, I think the last time I worked on these in earnest was like 2019. And I remember because I was taking a class up in Tennessee and I took this with me. So it's been several years since I really been truly working on it. But I have these, let me see, these are half square triangles. And then these are some of the other ones that I've just been cutting down to 1.5 inches. So these are tiny pieces. If you follow the channel, I have not worked with these pieces in so long, but I pulled them. Well, I didn't even pull them. I had them here and this is kind of my UFO project for January. And when I pulled them, I was like, wow, I could use these. If I'm going to make that broken dishes block, I could use these half square triangles to complete this block. And since I already had these made, I didn't have to go pull any more fabric. I will also be using some of these. These are some of the quarter square triangles, or they're really half square on one side and quarter square on the other side. But I'm going to use both of these as well in some of my blocks. And that's why I've chosen what I've chosen for this quilt. Not even sure how many I have or how many I'm going to need for the block. I don't know if I'll have enough to finish the quilt, but maybe. So I pulled the half square triangles and I have this little baggie because I use that for traveling purposes, but I have a box of these that are kind of already done. So really cool. And I can just pull from these to get the block that I want. All right, so I'm just going to pour these in here. And I'm going to keep this because when I go off and I take this with me to do some cutting, I'll only take this box and then these little baggies. So I have them that I can put the stuff in when I'm done cutting it. So I have this. And in order to get the block size that I want, I'm going to modify this just a little bit. This is a basic unit of 4 half square triangles. And in this book, they use 4 of those units to create the block. I'm going to make a block a little bit bigger. Oh, let me make sure you can see that. My block is going to be a little bit bigger. And I'm going to do 9 blocks instead of just the 4 blocks. And I need to adjust that on my chart because I put that I only needed 6 blocks, but I'm going to need 9 blocks. And there are several of these that I think I'm going to have to adjust that way, but I'm going to wait until I get closer to time. And I'm going to change the page number on that too because I had that all wrong. Well, I had the pattern, the quilt block number instead of the page number. So I had to go back and fix that. So let's talk about how to create these blocks. And I did kind of a rough little thing for it last night just so you could see it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to look. Let me mix these up a little bit. Let's see. Just shake it up. I don't know how well this is going to mix them up. But I'm going to pull. Oh, yeah, that's good. So I'm going to pull some different colors. So these pop out at once. And I need 9 sets. So I'm going to do, this is 1 set. So 4 of these makes a set. Okay. And then I'm going to pull 8 more colorways, and then I'll show you what they look like. Here is the block with the individual units sewn together. These little units are so cute. And I'm going to now stitch them together. Oh, before we do that, let me show you how I've pressed them. Okay, so you can see that I've swirled the seam in the middle, and they should all nest, which is awesome because they're all going the same way. And then I'm gonna press the rows in opposite directions. So I'm gonna sew everything together, and then we'll do the final reveal of this block. Here is the completed Broken Dishes quilt block right here. Take a look at it. It is so cute. And I'm gonna hold it up close to the camera. I was thinking in my quilty math that it would be like a 9-inch block with these 36 squares or HSTs, but that's not really true. It actually is probably about a 6.5 or a 6.25 inch block. I have not measured yet, but it's a little tiny block. You can just see, like, with my hand over it, it's so little. But I love how it came together. So what my plan is for these cakewalk blocks is to set them on point. So I'm gonna have 13 blocks, and then I'm going to border them. Now that I realize it's gonna be a 6.5 inch unfinished block, I'm gonna border them so they're about 8 to 8.5 inches, and then turn them on point. Well, this way better. Turn them on point so that the quilt can be a decent size. And once we get to 13, it's gonna be really cute and really fun. I got this idea actually from my sister. When I made the cookies and cream cake, she suggested a block that that looked kind of like the cookies in the that vanilla batter. So this is what I came up with. With the scraps, it doesn't quite give that same appeal, but I still think it's adorable. Let me know in the comments if there are any cake suggestions that you have. I've made a few, but I only have a couple on my list. Put some cake suggestions, and then even some little tiny blocks that you think would be cute in this quilt as well. I'm really excited about this journey. Can't wait to see how all of this comes together. If you have any questions about what you've seen in this video, leave them in the comments below. Thumbs up this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share with your friends. I will see you next time for the next Cakewalk Quilt video. Bye.